Tank destroyers, emerged from a pretty urgent need during World War II. As German armored divisions swept across Europe, the Allies realized they needed specialized vehicles to counter these formidable tanks. Unlike traditional tanks, tank destroyers were built with one main goal in mind: take out enemy armor before it could threaten friendly lines. Throughout the war, the United States developed several models, each with its own strengths and trade-offs, to meet this challenge head-on. The M10 Wolverine, America's first true tank destroyer, was built for one purpose: stop German armor before it could break through Allied lines. Mounted on a modified Sherman chassis, the M10 carried a 3-inch gun capable of defeating early and mid-war Panzer tanks. Its fully rotating open-top turret gave crews excellent visibility, but, left them exposed to shell fragments and airbursts. The sharply sloped hull, which was pretty uncommon at the time for US vehicles, reduced weight and helped incoming rounds glance away rather than penetrate. The M18 Hellcat was designed around speed, not protection, making it the fastest armored fighting vehicle of the Second World War. Powered by a radial engine, it could reach speeds exceeding 50 miles per hour, allowing it to reposition faster than enemy armor could react. Its 76mm gun was effective when used from ambush or at the flanks. The open turret and thin armor meant survival depended entirely on movement, timing, and, honestly, surprise. The M36 Jackson was introduced to solve a growing problem. American guns could no longer reliably defeat German heavy tanks. To correct this, the M36 mounted a powerful 90mm gun capable of penetrating Panthers and Tigers at combat ranges. Built on an upgraded chassis, with an open-top turret, it retained the same visibility advantages as earlier designs. The long barrel and massive muzzle brake made the Jackson instantly recognizable on the battlefield. The Marder III was a German stopgap tank destroyer created to counter superior enemy armor using speed and firepower rather than protection. Built on the Jagdpanzer IV chassis, it mounted a high-velocity 75mm anti-tank gun, capable of destroying Allied tanks at long range. The fighting compartment was open and lightly armored, exposing the crew to return fire. Its tall profile made concealment difficult, but its gun made it lethal when used from prepared positions. The StuG III became one of the most effective and widely used tank destroyers of the war by combining simplicity with lethal efficiency. Originally designed for infantry support, it evolved into a dedicated anti-tank weapon armed with a long-barreled 75mm gun. Its low silhouette and thick frontal armor made it ideal for ambush tactics. By the later years of the war, the StuG III was responsible for destroying more enemy tanks than any other German armored vehicle. The Jagdpanzer IV refined Germany's tank destroyer design with a low-profile hull and sloped armor, making it harder to hit and penetrate. Built on the reliable Panzer IV chassis, it mounted a high-velocity 75mm gun in a fixed superstructure. Its compact shape allowed it to conceal itself in defensive positions, while the gun's accuracy made it deadly at medium to long ranges. Compared to earlier open-top designs, it offered crews far greater protection without sacrificing firepower. The JagdTiger was the heaviest tank destroyer of World War II, built to dominate the battlefield with unmatched firepower. It mounted a massive 128mm PaK-44 gun capable of destroying any Allied tank at long range. Its frontal armor, up to 250mm thick, made it nearly impervious to return fire from the front. However, its extreme weight and mechanical complexity limited mobility and reliability, restricting its overall battlefield impact despite its terrifying presence. The Su-76 was the Soviet Union's most widely produced self-propelled gun, designed for infantry support and light anti-tank roles. Built on a simple, reliable chassis, it mounted a 76.2mm gun capable of engaging light armor and fortified positions. Its open-top design made the crew vulnerable to artillery and small arms fire, but the vehicle's ease of production allowed thousands to reach the front. The Su-76 became a staple of Soviet combined arms operations due to its versatility and numbers. The Su-85 marked the Soviet shift to a dedicated tank destroyer role. Built on the T-34 chassis, it mounted an 85mm gun capable of taking on mid to heavyweight German tanks like the Panther. Its low, sloped armor provided modest protection while maintaining mobility. The Su-85 allowed Soviet forces to respond effectively to the increasing threat of German armored breakthroughs on the Eastern Front. The Su-100 was the pinnacle of Soviet wartime tank destroyer development, built to counter the heaviest German armor. Mounted on the T-34 chassis, it carried a powerful 100mm gun capable of reliably destroying Panthers and Tigers at long range. Its low, sloped, frontal armor made it difficult to hit, and the open top was eliminated, giving crews better protection than earlier models. The Su-100 became a key asset in late-war offensives across Eastern Europe. The ISU-122 was a heavy Soviet assault gun and tank destroyer built on the IS heavy tank chassis. Armed with a 122mm gun, it could destroy enemy armor, bunkers, and fortifications alike. Thick frontal armor allowed it to operate under fire, while its massive gun made it a psychological and tactical threat on the battlefield. Despite a slower rate of fire, its power made it a versatile weapon in breakthrough operations. The ISU-152, nicknamed the Beast Killer, mounted a 152mm howitzer on the IS tank chassis. It was designed to obliterate heavy German tanks and fortified positions with sheer explosive force. Its thick frontal armor and low silhouette allowed it to survive in frontline combat. The massive caliber and high explosive shells made it particularly effective against Tigers and Panthers, often disabling them with a single shot. The British Archer was an unusual tank destroyer, built on the Valentine chassis, with a 17-pounder gun mounted facing backward. This design, allowed it to fire and retreat without turning the vehicle, a tactic that was just ideal for ambushes. Its low profile and high-velocity gun made it deadly in defensive roles, though honestly, the reversed firing layout required some unique tactics from the crew. The Achilles was a modified American M10 Wolverine, fitted with the British 17-pounder gun. This upgrade dramatically increased its ability to penetrate German heavy armor. The combination of mobility, firepower, and crew familiarity with the Sherman chassis made the Achilles a reliable and effective tank destroyer in both offensive and defensive operations. Italy's Semovente series consisted of compact assault guns designed for both infantry support and anti-tank roles. Armed with 75mm or 105mm guns, they were low, maneuverable, and effective in defensive positions, despite limited numbers. Production constraints meant they could not match the scale of Allied or German forces, but in defensive engagements, they proved capable of halting enemy advances. The Honi series of Japanese tank destroyers, which included the Honi 1, 2, and 3, were light vehicles built mainly for ambush tactics and homeland defense. These machines were equipped with 75mm or 105mm guns, all mounted on modified light tank chassis. The idea was to supplement infantry forces and help repel enemy armor. However, their thin armor and open-top designs really limited their survivability, and they were rarely used in large-scale operations. This approach kind of reflected Japan's defensive posture late in the war. So, that wraps up our full overview of the major tank destroyers used during World War II, covering the innovations and doctrines of the United States, Germany, the Soviet Union, Britain, Italy, and Japan.